fine completion, but tackled in the field of play for the Vikings. That'll be yet another short completion to Bateman. Now down to 2:32 to go.
Boy, here we go. Let's see if they could pull this one away.
Riverside has the stomach for drama. 4 games decided by a field goal or less. Looking for a fifth are the Vikings. Empty set, back to throw. Dale looking left, fires end zone, dropped in and out of the hands. He had it in the breadbasket. DeQuan Hampton, that would have been his yet another touchdown, make it 5 this season. Now make it 3rd and 8. Dropped pass by him.
And it would have been number 10 for Brock Dale as far as touchdown passes. But right there, it's interesting to see Riverside still going to a 3-man front, even though they're in the red zone.
Well, that worked for them on the last pass completion. 3rd down. The Vikings have been around 30% tonight. First down make is at the 6. Back to throw. Dale pump fakes. Going end zone. Incomplete. Tipped away. That'll be a 3rd down stop by that Tigers defense again. Now 4th and 7 for the ball game.
Well, this will be the second time this drive that the game is on the line again.
The first down make is at the 6. Brock Dale operates off a 4-wide package. 6 defensive backs into the game for the Tigers. 3 down linemen look. Play clock is down to 12. 2:08 to go. Tigers lead by 13. This will seal it. Shotgun snap. Dale looking. Pass rush coming. Floats it near side. Caught by Bateman, and he's got the first down. Yet another critical 4th down conversion. 2 for 2 on this drive. And we have exactly 2 minutes to go. And the Vikings are still alive, hanging by the jugular 4 yards away from a touchdown.
Brock Dale right there having all the time in the world, just standing still in the pocket pretty much.
Snap is back. Hand off to Bateman, and he's swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a 2-yard loss. Tackle was made by Christopher Lewis, and that clock keeps moving, Dan. 1:45. I believe they're content with really just finding their best play to reach the end zone. No late timeout called by, I believe, the Vikings. They have yet to make a decision. No, injury down on the field. 1:42 to go. Tigers lead by 13.
The first run right there of this possession and unsuccessful, and fortunately there is an injury, or else that clock would have been ticking.
Oh, fortunately an injury? Man, just controversial, but I will give you one thing.
I didn't mean it like that.
Well, we all still love you here, Dan, but there's one thing I do want to ask here. If you're Riverside, you give up the touchdown, right? This is still a very winnable game. What is the mood for Tom Kraft knowing that, boy, your defense has just been drugged all over the field on a 70-yard drive that has the makings of a touchdown?
Boy, if they come away with this score right here, obviously the Vikings are going to have to do that onside kick, and
even if
low percentage,
the Tigers recover, you still, if you're the Vikings, have 2 timeouts, so it still wouldn't be over. This is still very much a football game. Clock keeps moving down to 1:37. Dale, snap is back, looking right. Throws to the end zone, floats it for Blandon. Did he get 2 feet in? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Long Beach Vikings. And it's a 7-point game with the extra point pending. Brock Dale with the teeth, going against the teeth of that Riverside defense. 2 4th and long conversions. He drugs down the Tigers defense 75 yards for a touchdown to make this thing a ball game.
Now it is going to come down to the onside kick with only 2 timeouts remaining for the Vikings.
I just wonder why the Tigers have such a stomach for drama. They always seem to make this thing close, as the extra point is good. The difference, of course, was that blocked field goal that ended up being a near touchdown for the Tigers. Indeed, it was. In a 6-point ball game, special teams really has been the difference. So at least 2 missed field goals, and that blocked one for a touchdown.
It really has been. They're the saviors of this game. And also, let's throw in there the fact that Nicholas King was unleashed and allowed to actually run the ball.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns total by him.
Yeah.
1 rushing, 1 receiving. 1:32 to go. Doesn't matter how you get it, though, Dan, but you got to recover the onside kick. And if you do, then you can run that clock all the way down to around 25 seconds before you have to do anything with it if you're unable to move the chains. So it really just comes down to, if you're Riverside, doing your due diligence when it comes to recovering onsides. They're lined up in the normal return formation. I'm sure the Vikings know that, boy, if you don't recover the onside kick, Jimmy Camacho is about as good as they come as far as field goals.
Interesting formation right here for Riverside. Only 4 men up front to return this onside.
And they line up after Solis tees it off in the normal kickoff formation, but they do have 7 aligned to the right-hand side. Kraft, very intelligent, burns a second timeout. We saw this a couple weeks ago, and here it goes again.
Yeah, it's smart play right there, but I don't think the Viking coach was showing off exactly what he wanted to do himself.
Because he kind of knew that this would potentially happen.
So it's a small little chess game going on at the end of this one.
Tom Kraft bounced back from San Diego State University. How about the illustrious career of Peabody? He is a man who's been around the junior college world. 10 seasons with L.A. Harbor, his second 10-7 mark with the Vikings in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, and at L.A. Harbor in 2010 went 9-2 and won the American Mountain Conference. So this guy is a winner.
Other National Central Conference scores, Mount Sac in a 62-14 game. They really just romp the Ryanville Seahawks.
I'm sure our broadcast partner on Friday nights, Chris
We're not going to
Sylvester,
hear enough of that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's having the time of his life.
Seriously. Meanwhile, boy, the time of our life over here, if the Tigers are able to recover the onside kick, Chris Sylvester, boy, how controversial. Normal kickoff. Recovered deep by Tremel Davis out at his own 12 to the 20, picks up a block, 25, scurries outside 30, tight ropes the sideline, and is spun out of bounds at around the 41-yard line.
Jeez, I really don't understand that call.
Going for the deep kick.
Yeah, you've got 2
timeouts
timeouts only.
You're sitting at around the same spot whether you onside kicked it or not. Let's just say you don't recover. Instead of the Tigers starting at their own 40, it's at the other 40. Doesn't really make that much of a difference. If you do the math, the Tigers, if they just take 3 knees, you can still run that clock all the way down to 35 seconds.
Wow. Will be interesting to see what Tom Kraft and the Tigers run here on offense.
This is
whether
a dominant running game.
Yeah, whether it's a pitch or dives, we'll see.
Well, the Tigers lead by 6. It's been ugly, but they're 1 first down away from a National Central Conference championship. A 4-wide set. Stallone in the game as the slot back. Flanking the quarterback is Denzel Foster. Everybody tight to the line for the Vikings. Handoff goes to the halfback Foster, and down he goes. It's a 2-yard loss. Timeout called with 1:18 left to go in this game.
Expect the read option to come out of playbook right here. Tom Kraft is a crafty play caller for sure.
He definitely is a man who, in his 5th season with the Riverside Tigers, has made literally a resume for the record books. He's won 89% of his games, Dan, and also has taken this team to a conference championship 3 out of the last 4 years now, making it 4 or 5 if he can win tonight.
Boy, talk about a guy who could coach. I mean, this guy just, even with the quarterback controversy early on in this season, is able to manage a team that is a true winner. And, well, just 1:18 away from being called the champion in the league.
That would push the Tigers to 7-1 and 4-0 in conference play. And the Long Beach City College Vikings would fall to 6-2, including 2-2 in league play, which would make you winners. And all that the Vikings could hope for is to win out and hope that Mount Sac kind of crumbles under pressure and loses their final game of the season. And we have 1:18 to do it here in this ball game. Vikings trail by 6. Denzel Foster with the call. Across the 40, 45, he's got it. He's got the conference championship win down to the 41-yard line. This one's going to be a final. Denzel Foster, that'll be your championship dagger. He's got the Tigers a win and a conference championship.
Denzel Foster has carried this team all season, and right there carrying them to a conference championship. Right there, a little fancy footwork too, a spin at the end of that run.
Yeah, how fitting that the man to win the game and really win the whole playoff season for you is Denzel Foster. We're going to love to see this man play here in the next level and also to go along with in the playoffs, as we are just a measly 48 seconds away. The Tigers will indeed burn a timeout. That'll be their last. 45 seconds away from yet another conference championship. What are your thoughts? 5-game winning streak. And, Dan, we beat both of the top dogs in our respective conference. And here we are, the number 1 seed in the National Central Conference. Number 1, in fact, in the Southern California ranks.
Well, if I'm the Tigers, I am breathing a breath of relief because
Absolutely.
It has been a uphill battle all the way through this whole season. It hasn't been easy at all. Starting off the season with a blowout win, and then that's where the trouble started to come. All the mistakes started to come into fruition, and hey, it's been a turnaround season for sure. I would label this season the turnaround season despite the 8-1 record. Excuse me, 7-1 record.
7-1 record. But what's interesting is that now the Tigers, who, at least for tonight, resurrected their road woes, will host every playoff game from here on out. And the championship game will be not too far from their neck of the woods. If they are able to go to the state championship game, they would play at Mount Sac College. How interesting, though, how Mount Sac, with this win, is now officially clinched into the playoffs, and we very well could see, and that's an interesting knee formation, but nevertheless, we could very well see Mount Sac and Riverside face off with the winner going to the Mountie Stadium for the state championship game. How about that?
Wow. That'll be interesting to see if Mount Sac wins out and gets to play it at their own home.
Well, it's nice also that Riverside controls their own destiny. They have the home field advantage. They have the conference championship. And this is a ball club that now will host every game that they can win so far this season outside of the game against Chaffee.
It's probably the toughest stadium to play at. I'm talking about the Jungle, Wheelock Stadium in Riverside, California.
And really, the team that was scoreboard watching was the Mount Sac Mounties. If the Vikings won, then the Mounties were eliminated. Now that the Tigers were able to knock off the 6-1 illustrious Vikings, now it's the Tigers who control their own destiny, and just right now, following this win, put Mount Sac back in the playoff picture. So back-to-back weeks here, Dan. We play the Mounties and we play the Vikings. There's only one of those two teams that will make the game or will make the playoffs as the wild card team, and who is it?
Well, that's tough to say, but I won't even get into that. What I wanted to get into is there's still a lot of football to be played this season, and what's being played for is seeding in the playoffs. What if Riverside loses 2 games? I mean, their seeding in the playoffs instantly drops despite this league championship here taking place. So that's what we got to keep an eye on. Can Riverside finish strong and take that momentum into the playoffs and win out to win for a state title?
And as for the Vikings head coach, Brett Peabody, a man who has made an illustrious name for himself at LA Harbor, but over the last 12 seasons, he has gone to absolutely 0 Southern California championship games. He's 10-7 this season, a very respectable record, but
it's a program that's still developing.
It's a man who has yet to take the next step. And one more time, it's very unfortunate for him, but yet another loss, 2-game losing streak, and now this is a ball club that has to win out and has absolutely no control over their destiny. They have to hope for a Mount Sac loss.
And that's a lot to ask for,
yeah,
especially a team like Mount Sac.
They play Citrus,
the
final game of the year. The Mounties do.
Yeah, that's a W. We could call that. I'll get into that one for sure. I mean,
yeah. What are your thoughts here of this game now that the Tigers are on a 5-game winning streak as we get some statistics here? But your thoughts of this game overall. It was a good one. The Tigers trailed for a majority of the half, but were able to really, in a championship effort, pull ahead, scrappy, clawy. This was a team that refused to go down, and following a late rally by the Vikings, held them off, a first down by Foster to win it.
Right. We could say that defense won this championship. I'm talking about the whole season.
Right.
But
hey, here we go. I'm always used to being on camera, so I just happened to attract my way onto there. But why don't we go ahead and stand up here?
Yeah, there we go.
Boy, the Chenoweth gang, are they awesome or what?
But back to my point. Throughout the whole season, we could say the defense won this league championship. Right. But tonight, it was special teams. Special teams took over and just dominated, causing 2 turnovers and 2 scores.
Special teams defense. It's literally a mantra that has won numerous championships for former state championship ball clubs. But now you take a look at Riverside. beating both of the top dogs. What has been the difference this year versus last, where they were unable to win those big games? Fullerton College jousted them twice, secondly from the postseason. This time around against the two top dogs, they're 2-0, Dan.
Well, the difference has been a turnover game. I mean, 8 turnovers